So here is what I have done for you, because I'm not a terrible person who hates students. I have created right here, download A6 rock, paper, scissors functions. I have actually written some sample functions for you. Now, I haven't written the whole program and I haven't implemented those functions. If you want an extra challenge, again, I would say try and write this from scratch using functions. If you want a medium level challenge, read through these functions and then try and write your own. If you're a little scared of this assignment, then use these functions and write the wrapper program that uses those functions. Okay, so you download those, and this is what we have in that file. Actually, minus these things. All you're going to get in that file is that. Okay, so 3 functions that are all filled out. Now, these are fully functional functions. Functional functions. That's a lot of functions. All right, so kind of got in the loop there. All right, so these actually work right now, but they won't do anything because there's nothing surrounding them. So if I import random, which I need to do because I use random in there, and I, down at the bottom here, want to use those, let's start with something a little easier. So I've got user guess here, which again uses a loop to force the user to do something useful. And I'm allowing the user to input rock, paper, or scissors. And what I do here is a convention that maybe you've seen before. But if I put parentheses around the R, P, and the S, does that make you want to give me any kind of specific input? Just visually? Because of me, after using the command line for quite a while, it makes me think that maybe I can type just R, P, or S for rock, paper, and scissors. So what I've done is I've set it up so that it accepts R or rock. Also, by the way, I'm stripping it and I'm converting to lowercase. So if they do uppercase R or lowercase r or any combination of uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter. It's going to end up R or rock, P or paper, S or scissors. So I'm making sure that they give me one of those. And then what I'm doing is I'm creating a variable for return called R, P, or S. I'm not going to use numbers because this isn't really a numeric problem. I'm going to use R, P, or S because it's weird. So if they don't give me a valid response, then it continues in that loop. If they do, it'll break. And then the very last thing here is it's going to return R, P, or S. So this takes no parameters and returns R, P, or S. The computer's guess sets up a list of strings, R, P, or S, and it just says, it uses random.choice to pick one of those, and then it just says, based on what it picks, what the computer chose. So it gives some similar feedback to what you give the user, and then it returns that as well. So now we have the judge, the who won, and it takes the user's input and the computer's input as R or P or an S, R, P or an S here. And it says if they're the same, it's a tie, and it returns a T for tie. If the user chose rock, then inside that I have the computer wins or you win, based on whether the computer chose paper or scissors. Okay, and so I just repeat that same logic 3 times for R, P, or S, right? Else it would be the user chose S. That's why I put a little note here inside that. And that is that. All that does is return U if the user wins, C if the computer wins, or T if it's a tie. So I have to use that to keep score. But here's an interesting thing. So I've got user guess. And if I print that, because remember it's going to return an RP or an S, and if I run that code, it asks me rock, paper, or scissors, and again, it won't give me anything until I give it a valid response. I give it an R. It says you chose rock, and then the print statement is printing what it returns, so it returns that R. So if I do that, and then I do the computer guess, so I do my guess, you chose rock, the computer chose scissors, and it's returning the R and the S. So good so far. So now, if I want to combine those, I'm just going to comment those two out. And I'm going to stack those functions inside the who won. So I'm going to print who won, and I'm going to say user guess, comma, comp guess. And by doing this, I can play one round of this game. So there's my guess, rock, paper, scissors. Get out of here. Rock. Okay, so I chose rock, the computer chose rock, it's a tie, and it returns T for a tie. I'll run it again. I choose rock again. The computer chose scissors. I won. So it returns a U. So I can use what it returns now. U, I get a point. C, the computer gets a point. T, it's a tie. Nobody gets a point. So I can use that to play multiple rounds of this. So that is the functions that I've written for you, but now you need to use them in your own code. So that is the challenge for this time. And you've got 35 minutes to work on this. I highly recommend spending some time working on this in class because you may or may not have trouble with this one. I will probably dip into this just a little bit next week in terms of like reviewing and giving you a little bit more and things like that, but I want you to work on it today and see where you can go. All right, so that is it.